I'm sitting here with AJ Fullerton, one of Montrose's favorite sons, returned after, well, partially because of the COVID, but returned to Montrose for a variety of reasons, and in the ballroom sitting here chatting with what's happening in your life.
Oh man, lots going on. First and foremost, thanks for having me.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's good to be home. It's been a trip. You know, I've been on the road now pretty much since high school. I grew up here, graduated 2013, and been quite literally all around the world. I did some stuff in Europe a year or two ago, and done a lot of U.S. touring, and just about to put out a new record.
Really?
Yeah.
Has it been released yet? Can people go buy this right now, or is it kind of on hiatus for the?
Well, I don't know
with the rest of the world
when this is coming out, but the record is coming out on March 26th.
So some in the future.
Yes.
From now.
Not this moment, but in a while from now. Yeah. March 26th on VizTone Records, my sophomore solo record will be coming out.
When was your first solo record?
I did a record in Denver back in 2017 called Calamath. It was my first attempt at a professionally made, solo record in a big studio.
Right.
And it did really well. It won, what was it? A bunch of awards from the Colorado Blues Society, including, I think, Album of the Year or something like that.
I'd heard of that.
Yeah. So it's one of those things that I've been really excited to make this new one.
So is there a focus for the new album, or is it just a collection of songs that you wrote or covers, or what we got going?
Yeah, it's a great question. There's definitely a theme to it. I actually recorded the entire album in Toronto.
Some great studios in Toronto.
Dude, I know. I spent like 2-3 weeks up there doing the whole session on site with a Canadian producer, a guy named Steve Mariner, and worked with all session players up there, and basically went up there with just a guitar and a bag,
Yeah.
and made this record on site. And this was back in, a while now, December of 19.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So just right at the end there, got up to Canada while he still could and made this record. And I wanted to go for a variety of reasons. There's 3 or 4 Canadian artists I really admire, especially roots Americana wise, and I actually got to work with a couple of them on the session because Steve, the producer,
that's cool,
knew those guys, and so I got to kind of work with some of my heroes, and kind of like a lot of artists, go and make a little retreat, go to a place that isn't here, or our home.
Let the creative juices flow a little bit, yeah.
Totally, and made this record. It's I don't know exactly how many tracks because it's been a while since I recorded it. I want to say it's 12. Don't quote me. 10, maybe 12.
Enough. There's enough tracks.
There's enough tracks for sure.
It's not too much, but
leaves you wanting more.
The perfect amount. Yeah.
Mostly original. One track that is not is a song by a Tennessee artist friend of mine named J.D. Taylor, and the other track is actually by one of those Canadian artists I really admire, a guy named Paul Reddick, who's a poet, and he writes a lot of Americana blues music, but it's very I would call it avant-garde. He uses a lot more chords than your average blues band.
Yeah.
There's a lot of colors to his writing in the sense of a lot of really interesting chords, really great lyricism. And we ended up covering one of his tunes, which I think is actually a co-write between him and a Nashville guy named Colin Linden. But we got Paul in the session and actually did the song as a duet with him, which was kind of cool.
That'd be cool.
Yeah.
So it sounds like a great album. Well, the big elephant in the room is, how did COVID affect first of all, the release of that album and touring? Right.
Well, it's affected it in ways I can't even explain, like everybody.
Yeah.
The goal was originally to release this record in March of 2020. We decided, though, with everything going on in the world, to at least push it back a year to see what was going on, and by the holidays, we kind of decided that it didn't really make any sense to just keep sitting on it.
Right.
So, hoping things get better, we're going to put it out there, and I think it's already starting to get some pretty good buzz.
So, if you weren't touring, what ended up bringing you back to the hometown?
Well, there's a lot of things that have been going on. To kind of jump off the very end of that last question, you know, I think like everybody else, I've been finding other ways to kind of keep busy, make money, get by. Been doing a lot of recording, producing, things like that. And then obviously, as you know, my dad passed away back in July of last year.
I'm really sorry about that one.
Thanks, man. So, you know, like everyone, it's been a tough year. But I'm excited. I feel like, you know, knock on wood, things are getting better. And, you know, I think this new record is going to be a great step in the right direction.
Well, hopefully.
Hopefully.
Well, and as things break loose, are you planning to tour this new album? And if you are you doing it solo, or do you have a band that goes along with you?
Well, we're going to try. You know, we did the whole record as a band record. We got some phenomenal people on it, too. I mean, if I have time for a quick little story, I don't know if we're on the clock. But
I don't think we really have a time frame.
Excellent. Well, one of my favorite parts of going up there is I actually flew into Ontario to meet with the producer, or Ottawa. I flew into Ottawa, Ontario, to meet with the producer. And
Ontario's big.
It's a big province, right? They got those up there. And he picked me up at the airport. And he said, "Hey, you know, we got a little free time. Do you want to meet your bass player for this session?" And I'm like, "Yeah, that'd be super cool." And I thought we were going to like a bar or something, going like to a little dive. And he takes us to like this 40,000 person event, like the Pepsi Center.
Yeah.
Like a giant sports stadium. And it turns out that this gal played bass on the record named Anna Ruddick is the touring bass player for City and Color, this great indie Americana act you might know. And we got like, you know, third row seats to watch this concert of, you know, an artist I loved in high school.
Right.
And my bass player. It was the most surreal experience. And the rest of the band was about the same caliber. It was kind of nuts. You know?
Well, those are the stories you can only get off the road.
Right.
And they're few and far between, really. So, the touring thing, everyone has kind of a romanticized image of it, I know. But
yeah.
Is it your favorite thing, doing the touring?
I love it. You know, I think like with any job or anything you do, it's about who you surround yourself with. And jumping back to that other question, I've been touring a lot as a solo act throughout my whole life. I mean, when I was a teenager playing in Montrose, I would mostly do solo acoustic shows. And then I kind of started building up and playing more as like duos with harmonica players and other guitar players. And then in the past few years, I've been doing primarily full band stuff. You know, festival shows or any larger stages. It's primarily a 4 or 5 piece.
So you're getting bigger and bigger audiences as well, and
if you're lucky.
So I heard really briefly through the grapevine that you were planning to go back to Europe and tour when all this hit. Do you have plans to go back on world tours, or you just kind of?
We're working on it. You know, like everyone, I think everyone in the industry is just trying to pick up the pieces, trying to figure out what the next move is. The story you're probably thinking of was last March or last February, I guess.
It was like Berlin or something, if I remember right.
Yep. I got a phone call from a friend of mine in Berlin, and I was supposed to fly out March 1st of 2020 to Europe for like 2-3 weeks, 2.5, 3 weeks, yeah. And she called me like at 11 p.m. on the last day of February and said, "Hey, don't come." And at the time I was like, what are you talking about? You know, like...
We hadn't really caught on to what was going on yet, yeah.
Right. So, yeah, I mean, I'm hoping we can do more stuff in Europe. And, you know, it's kind of weird. But this summer, I think we're starting to get some interest for at least some outdoor stuff, some concert series sort of things. And, you know, I'm cautiously optimistic.
Do you want to play a tune that you have in mind, maybe for what's coming up in the summer?
I can sure give it a shot.
What?
Okay.
I'll get off. I'll leave then.
Okay, cool. Let's see here. This is a acoustic version of a song off the new record called Homesick. Be sure to tune in next week. I'll be doing a full set that'll air Thursday, the 18th. going home. Spent too many days on the road. Home, oh baby, I'm going home. And I don't want to be alone. Will you take from me, oh baby. Taking's all you'd ever seem to do. So won't you give me just one more chance, and I'll show you how I can make it up to you. Well, I'm homesick now, babe. I wanna go home. When the hardship finds you and you're on your own. Oh baby, when the memories, the only thing keeping you going strong. Well, I'm homesick now, babe. Oh, oh, you know I wanna go home. So home, I'm going home. Spent too many days on the road. Well, home, baby, I'm going home, and I don't wanna be alone. Well, I don't wanna be alone. I don't wanna be alone.